Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday to you all. How are you doing? Hope you're having a great week. Yesterday we had our second community event and it was really great. We had a really nice mix of people, some great energy in the room. We had somebody that had just started their business 5 months ago and somebody else that had been going many years and built up a team of over 40 people. It was really great to see how the conversation flowed and how everybody was kind of chipping in and coming up with ideas and thoughts and support of each other. So it was absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed it, and thank you so much to all of you, all of those that attended. Really great. So next month our February event is going to be on Thursday the 27th of January, and this time we are going to try a different time slot because 8 o'clock in the morning is perfect for some people but not so great for others, so we're going to kind of mix it up a little bit. So Thursday the 27th of January we're going to go for 10 o'clock, 10 till 12. I'll be posting the details in there, but if you already want to mark your calendar, that would be great. So next month we are going to be focused on resilience and on you and making sure that you're okay. Yesterday in the January event we were talking about intention, setting ourselves up for a good year ahead and what did we want to achieve this year and what were the steps we were going to take to achieve that. But next month it's all about you as the business owner. How do you make sure that you're resilient enough to withstand the ups and downs of this great entrepreneurial journey? What are the standards that you want to set yourself for the year ahead, and what kind of routine, what do you need in your life? What are the building blocks that you need to make sure that you're okay? I had a call with a client yesterday afternoon and she was talking about how important exercise is in her life, keeping her on track, mental health, keeping her feeling positive. And I know for myself that that's hugely important to me in my life. So what are those things that are important to you that you need to put in place? So that's what we're going to be talking about next month, Thursday the 27th of January. Hope you can make it. Good morning, Eliana. Thank you so much for joining. Really great to see you. Mark, really looking forward to seeing you next week. Hope that you're well. Thank you so much for joining. So as you know, I am absolutely passionate about helping business owners of all shapes and sizes, wherever you are in your journey, avoid overwhelm and burnout. That is really my thing. I'm on a bit of a mission to reach as many people as I can with my messaging, and the TEDx talk that I did in December was one of the key things for me to kind of get that message out. And in these Facebook Lives I've been going through my 3 steps that I talk about in my TEDx talk. So 2 weeks ago we talked about how to get really clear about what you're good at and what the value is that you bring to your business. And then last week we spoke about how to get your head round not doing everything yourself, which is pretty tricky for most entrepreneurs. And so today is step 3, and that's all about finding the right people, and that's what I want to talk about today. So I know, Eliana, you're working in a really brilliant team, and Mark, you've got a great team of people around you, so you'll be able to relate to this hopefully, and looking forward to your thoughts and contributions. And other people are joining. Good morning. So a few thoughts then around how do you find the right people. When you start off in business, you need to really think about 2 different kinds of people. Who are those people that are going to complement me? So who are those people that are going to do all the things that I don't really want to be doing or shouldn't really be doing, or I've got better things, I can add more value in my business if I'm not doing those other tasks. So typically one of the first people that I recommend a new entrepreneur to get into their team is some sort of PA or admin support, somebody to help you with email, maybe somebody to help you with social media, help you with some of those tasks that can be very time consuming, but as new entrepreneurs we sometimes think that we should be able to do all of those, but they can also, not just about your time, it's also about clearing your head. So when I talk about building a team, we spoke about this yesterday, yesterday actually during the event. I'm not necessarily talking about full-time employees. I'm talking about anybody that is in your team, service providers, contractors, people that are working for you part-time, and of course, employees, full-time or part-time. So when I talk about building a team, I'm talking about all of those people around you. So I have somebody that does my social media. I have someone that does design and graphics. I have a PA. None of those people work for me full-time. I also am just bringing on board somebody to do some sales for me and some research. That won't be a full-time role. So, and then as your business grows, then you do need to take on full-time people. So when I'm talking about people, just to be clear, I'm not only talking about full-time employees. When I ask people what kind of business they want to build, that is part of the question, is do you want a team of full-time employees? Do you want people that are service providers? Do you want contractors? How do you want to set that up? What kind of business are you building? Mark's saying he doesn't have any sound. I'm hoping that that's not at my end. Eliana, can you hear me all right? Can you just ping in here to say that you can hear me okay? I wonder if that's at your end, Mark. Let's see if Eliana can hear me okay. Hopefully she can. I'm going to continue and let's see if anybody else can hear me. Hopefully you just need to turn up your sound, Mark. I'm hoping that's not at my end. Hopefully it is recording okay. So thinking about people that complement you, so people that are wired differently than you, that are going to do different tasks than what you are going to focus on. As I say, so typically if you're very focused on the sales and the marketing in your business, you want somebody that's got different energies, that is going to do different tasks, so somebody that can complement you. The other type of person you're looking for is probably somebody. Eliana's just said, all good here. So Mark, I think it must be at your end. You need to turn the volume up. The other kind of person you're looking for is people that are more like you. So if you're too busy, let's say on the sales and marketing side of things, you might bring somebody in that's wired a little bit more like you, to take some of the load off of your shoulders. But you do need to be aware that people like you will also struggle with all the things that you struggle with. So, and they will avoid doing the things that you avoid doing. So it is important to have a mix of people that are wired differently than you, that enjoy and are good at doing different things, but also probably some people that can take the load off your shoulders and that are a little bit more like you are. And the way that you figure this out, and I've mentioned this before, one of the ways that you can figure this out is by getting yourself and your team profiled so that you understand where you get your energy from and where other people do. So you can really start looking at your organisation more in terms of an energy chart than an organisation chart. What are the energies that I need in my team? For example, I took on a client a couple of years ago, an engineering firm, and they were struggling commercially, financially. And when I profiled their team, I could see that they didn't really have much of that energy that you need to be successful commercially or to do sales. So they had a lot of creative energy. They were all engineers. They were designing and creating and building things, but not so good at selling things. So it can actually really help, even though you might think that you can figure it out. It can just really help if you start looking at the energies and also help you understand yourself. So we've got people that are complementary to you and we've got people that are like you. And then you're really focused on what tasks are we all doing and what are the outcomes that we're looking for, as well as what are the energies that we're bringing. And that's how you start to build up your team. And then as you build up your team, when you get to about 7 to 10 people, and it's different in every single company, but when you get to that kind of number of people, you do need to start thinking about putting a bit more structure into your team, because now you can't be involved in every single conversation, however much you try. Things start happening, conversations start happening, decisions start happening that you're not necessarily involved in, which is brilliant because you are not your business and you do need to separate yourself from that. But you start to need a little bit of structure, and that's really a lot of the work that I do with clients, is helping them put that structure in place. And what we're really talking about is starting to think about a management team. Now, a lot of people think that they have a management team when actually they've got senior staff. And often I point this out to them and they kind of go, oh, what's the difference? Senior staff are senior people in your organisation that are more experienced, have maybe been with you a bit longer. They maybe take on a bit of a mentoring or coaching role with your more junior staff, but they're not really managers. And what I mean by that is all decisions are still coming back to you. You are still involved in all of the processes, and you don't really have anybody that is actually sharing the responsibility of running the business. You are still 100% running the business. Whereas when you have a management team, decision making is shared. Line management of the other people in the team is not all on your shoulders. And the actual management of the business is not all on your shoulders. And that is a real difference. And a lot of people think they have a management team, but actually, as I say, all the decisions are still being made by them. So you as the business owner will still sit around that management table, if you like. You are still one of the people, but you're sharing that responsibility with other people in your team, with the senior members of your team. That transition can be quite difficult for some people. You may have people in your team who are more senior but have no experience of managing others, have no experience of running a business. And so that is a bit of a process that you need to take them through, and that's typically what I will help my clients with. What you're really looking for as a business owner is for it not to be all on your shoulders. We had one gentleman yesterday who came to the event who spoke about the buck stops with me. Everything always comes back to me, and I'm the one that's up in the middle of the night worrying about the business and worrying if we don't have enough money, or if we're struggling with a supplier or customer. And that is true, but there are ways, as I said to him, there are ways of sharing that load around so that it isn't all on your shoulders. Ultimately, as the owner, you are probably going to feel it more than others, but there is a tremendous strength in having other people in your team, in your senior team, where the decision making and the responsibility ultimately is shared. So that is about then collective decision making, which is tricky if you are used to making all the decisions yourself. That's quite a transition for a business owner to go through, to actually share that decision-making responsibility with other people. But there are ways, as I mentioned to this gentleman yesterday, there are ways of making people feel more on the hook. I ran a workshop actually earlier on this week with a client down in Bournemouth, where we were talking about compensation, so how they are paying their people. And that's really one of the things that I'm talking about here, is that the way that you compensate people will drive behaviours. So we all know that salespeople, if you put a commission plan in front of them, they will sell to that commission plan. But however, even if you don't think that your people are money motivated, and even if you're not money motivated yourself, compensation plans do have a habit of impacting people's behaviours. So even if we don't think that we really care about the money that much, if we have a compensation plan there, our behaviours will change accordingly. And so it's really important when you look at compensation that you're thinking about what behaviours do you want to drive. And going back to the management team, if you have the company performance as part of the way that you pay your senior team, they will feel much more on the hook for that. What you want is that at least your senior team, I mean, I would say everybody, but at least your senior team, you want everybody feeling the good times, but you also want people feeling it when the company's not doing so well. Otherwise, it's all on you. If you're having cash flow issues, if the company's struggling, if you need some more clients, you want the whole team to be feeling like we're in this together and we're going to get through this. And one of the ways you do that is having an element of people's compensation tied to company results. Another way that you can do it, if you have some kind of variable element, bonus, whatever you want to call it, in terms of the way that you pay people that is linked to their individual pay packets, you can also have a gate, have a threshold that the company has to do a certain level of performance before the individual bonuses or targets set in. And again, that pulls everybody together in terms of feeling like they're all on the hook. You want your team to feel like we're all on the hook, we're all in this together. It's really, really important for you as a business owner, as your team grows, that it isn't all on your shoulders. And I think in terms of sharing the load, so I talked about collective decision making, I talked about compensation, and there's also communication. As your team grows, you have to be a bit more structured about your communication. There are some things that you will share with your senior team, with your management team, and then there are other things that you want to share with your whole company. And I always say to business owners, you need to do more communication than you think you need to. People want to know what's going on, and especially if they're used to being able to directly communicate with you, if you then put a management team in place, a bit of structure in between, you're not saying they can't talk to you, but you're putting that line manager between to manage that person. And it's really important to think about how communication gets cascaded. Different people have a different level of comfort in terms of what they are willing to share with the whole team. I always advise people to share as much as they feel comfortable with, in sort of full company town halls, regular meetings with the whole company, where you as the leader are standing up and saying, this is our vision, this is where we're going, but this is also how we did in the last quarter. High level company results, this is how we did and this is what it means. And also rewarding then behaviours that you want to see, so exceptional achievements or good behaviours that you want to see more of. I think the final piece then, thinking about how this team and this business grows over the months and years, I think the last thing to think about then is your role. What do you want your role to be? Some people want to stay very involved in their business, but they need to make sure that they're focusing on their area of expertise, their flow, the activities where they add the most value in their business, but they might stay quite hands-on even when they have a management team. And other people actually want to have much less of a role, only be really involved in the sort of strategic direction of the company and making those key decisions, but really having all the day-to-day operational workings of the business be managed by the management team, which is what they're there for. And so it's important to think about and ask yourself as you go through the growing of your business, what is it that I want my role to be? Because after a while, sometimes you don't want to be involved so much in the day-to-day. You want to be thinking about new and exciting opportunities, and that will depend on how you're wired, of course, but a lot of business owners have got a lot of creativity, they're comfortable with risk, that's why they start out in business in the first place. But they like change, they like things to be different, they like things to be moving on. And actually, that energy that got you to that point of that business might not be the best thing for the business going forward. And so it's important to recognise that even though you were the person to start the business and grow the business, you might not be the right person to manage the business as it gets more stable. And now we're talking about productivity, we're talking about systems, we're talking about consistency, we're talking about delivering the same high quality to our customers every day. That's pretty tricky for your typical business owner who wants to mix things up and shake things up and wants to change things and is excited by new opportunities. So thinking carefully about your role and what role you can play in your business as you go forward is really critical. And when I'm working with management teams, I'm often helping them with actually how to manage the business owner, how to manage you as the business grows and, as I say, gets more stable, and the business owner's focus, we need to keep the business owner's focus on the new opportunities and on the strategic direction rather than the operational day-to-day running of the business. One final thought I wanted to leave you with on this topic is it's very easy to get stuck on how, and if your business or you are stuck with how do I do this, why is my cash flow so tight, how do I get more business, how do I do my marketing, how do I set this system up? And I have struggled with that over the years as well, so I can tell you, but the brilliant thing is that I have learned how to crack this. Instead of asking how, you need to ask who. Who is that person that has the knowledge or that can help you or can do the job for you? Who, not how. And if you're looking at your business and it's not doing as well as you'd like, you've probably got a member of your team missing. You probably need an extra person, a person that's going to bring that different energy. So the company I was telling you about, the engineering company who was struggling with commercial and sales, when they looked then at their energy chart, they were able to say, oh my goodness, we need to bring somebody in that's got more of that commercial focus, that people energy that is needed in order to sell. So if your business is stuck, is stagnating, is not really going the way that you want it to go, you may be missing a member of your team. So I'd be really interested to hear where do you think you're stuck and who could help you, advise you, come in and do a job for you. You might want to actually hire them. Who's missing in your team? That's the question I want to leave you with today. Who is missing in your team? And what's stopping you take them on? In my TEDx talk, I talk about the reasons why people don't build teams and don't stop doing everything themselves. And a lot of it is around guilt and shame, but also people tell themselves that they can't afford to take on people. And I've spoken about that before, but I'm just going to reiterate now. If you think you can't afford to take on a person, let me ask you, how much more productive would you be if you had that extra person? What could they do for you? How much more time could you spend on driving revenue with your customers? Just think about that. Maybe you've got a short-term cash flow issue, but actually you don't have an affordability issue. If your business is stuck or stagnating, who do you need? Who is missing in your team? Morning, Joni. Thank you for joining. Oh, morning, Ollie, as well. Great to see you. So please tell me, where are you in your business journey? Where are you in finding those right people? Where are you in the process of building your team? Somebody reached out to me last week and asked me whether or not the event would be right for them, because he said, you're all about building teams, Lisa, and I'm just on my own. I've just started out. And my reply to him was, if you want to be a one-man band, totally fine. If that's what you want to be and that's your vision for your business, that's totally fine. But you might not find this group as helpful as some other places if that's what you want to do. But if your ambition is to grow a team and actually grow a business rather than being a one-man consultant, coach, whatever you are, working on your own by yourself, if your aspirations are to grow a team, then this is the place for you. I want to support you, whether you are right at the beginning thinking about taking on that first person, or whether you've got a team of 40 plus people in your company and you're really thinking about, how do I share the load? How do I get more out of the day-to-day? Wherever you are in that long and up and down journey, I want to support you with that. And this today is all about how you find those right people, whether it's the first person or whether it's the 40th person. They all need to be right for your business. So what's stopping you? What's stopping you taking on that next person, identifying that next person in your team, and how would that new person help drive your business forward in the direction you want to take it? Hope that's given you some food for thought. Let me know in the comments section how you feel about building a team and anything that might be stopping you do that. Hope you have a great Friday. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will be posting the new event details in the group next week. So Thursday the 27th of January, hope you can make it. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.